There are many excellent reasons to study philosophy, including examining really important questions that can't be resolved by science, including examining critically our beliefs, our assumptions, our priorities, and looking at their implications. Those are really good reasons for studying philosophy, but what we're focusing on here are the data that show that there are extremely positive practical advantages to studying philosophy. And of course, most students are concerned about employment, and we start here by considering what employers want the most. That is, what do employers wish students spent more time developing in the courses that they took? So we're focusing on the intellectual skills that employers seek. And the top four include, number one, consistently, critical thinking and analytical reasoning skills. If you can think critically and analytically very well, you will have success in all kinds of different careers. And that's also true for the ability to analyze and solve complex problems, the ability to effectively communicate orally, and the ability to effectively communicate in writing. Studies have shown that these are the top four intellectual skills that employers wish students would spend much more time on while they're in college taking courses. Now, how could you measure these skills? Well, we have test scores that measure the skills, and those include the GMAT, the LSAT, the GRE, and the MCAT, and we'll look at those data. And the skills are also rewarded by employers through salary increases. Obviously, if this is what employers want, as employees have these skills developed, they will be rewarded with their salary. So let's look at the data on the test scores. Here's a chart showing the top 5 LSAT scores by major. Now, these are majors with more than 1,000 students taking the LSAT, so it would not include mathematics and physics, which combined as a discipline is right up there at the top with philosophy and economics. The top 5 GMAT scores by major. The GMAT is the exam people take to get into business school at the graduate level. And we see math and physics, and then we see philosophy third. The GMAT is focused on assessing those critical reasoning and analytical reasoning skills like the LSAT is as well. When we go to the GRE verbal skills, you won't find math and physics here, but you see that philosophy is number 1, above English, which you might suspect would be number 1, but actually philosophy majors on average score higher in the verbal section of the GRE. This is also true for the analytical writing section of the GRE. Philosophy is top among all majors. When we go to the quantitative reasoning scores for the GRE, yes, it is true, as you might expect. Math, physics, computer scientists, engineers do very well in the quantitative reasoning section. But when we focus on the non-STEM majors, those that are not in a natural science, technology, engineering, or math, we see that philosophy is again in the top 5. So among the humanities, for example, philosophy is at the top. Even among social sciences, philosophy majors outperform when it comes to quantitative reasoning. And for the MCAT, the exam that you need to take in order to get into medical school, we see that the humanities as a group have the highest average by area of the major. And of course, as we've seen with the previous skills, with the LSAT and GMAT that focus on analytical reasoning skills, with the GRE verbal and writing sections that focus on the verbal skills, obviously, philosophy is in the top 5 in those areas. And so, of course, philosophy is leading that average, is strengthening that average. And in fact, philosophy students, when we look at the acceptance rate into medical school, of all majors, philosophy students have the highest acceptance rate into medical school. Now, of course, if somebody's going to medical school, they're going to also have some science in their background, but their acceptance rate is significantly higher than biology or chemistry majors. So those test scores tell us that studying philosophy improves and develops your ability to think critically, to solve complex problems, to communicate orally, and to communicate in writing. And that is why those who have a bachelor's degree in philosophy do very well at mid-career. Now, their average is right in the middle or in the upper third, at least, right out of college. But at mid-career, philosophy majors are excelling in terms of their salary. And you can see that they do better than some of the natural sciences like chemistry or geology, some of the technology fields like CIS, and some of the business areas like marketing, accounting, management, human resources, some professional areas like nursing. If LEJA were on the chart, it would be far to the right. RPTA would be far to the right. But the salary of philosophers is high because they're able to transfer those skills into a wide variety of careers. They can move laterally, and they tend to get promoted much more quickly.